Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy and today I'm bringing to you another opinionated list video. These tend to be in high demand, a nice easy watch for you guys and fun for me to make, which is a nice happy coincidence I feel. But they tend to be about specific weapons usually, so I figured why not do something more wide ranging today. The result is I'm going to rank each of the 4 infantry classes. And yes, this is a video inspired by T-Bag Gaming's content. Big shout out to my guy T-Bag, I love him. I'm going to link to him in the description today as well. Please check him out. Had a hard time recently, makes epic content. Just go and say hello from me. I'd really appreciate it, and he would as well probably. Back to the point though, I'll open with my least favourite and we'll work our way through in order to my most favourite. Essentially going from the one that I think is the worst for me and least fun for me to the best and most fun for me. But as alluded to already, let's make this very clear, this is purely my opinion. The purpose of this video is for me to present my list, provide a bit of entertainment, and be able to read your lists in the comments below. Then we can see if there are any patterns, such as one class often being the least favourite or whatever else. So please leave your lists in the comments below. Go and do it now if you want. Go do it. Go write something out. Let me see. Now I am doing this before the plan changes to gunplay, so we'll probably have to make an updated list for this after that. But that's okay, and actually maybe a good thing. We can then compare the classes before and after the patch at that point. And the last little thing to cover before we dive on in is I generally like to grab footage from previous videos for this type of content, so it feels genuine and based off my real thoughts and experiences rather than just stuff churned out and made up for views, because I don't want to do that. But YouTube's compression of videos sucks. So if some of the footage looks a little rougher than my usual content, well, that's why. I'm sure you understand. Okay, let's get into this, and I'm opening with the support class as my least favourite option. All you support mains out there, get your crying out now. I'm sure this is a tough moment for you. But this doesn't mean it's bad, not at all. This class currently offers LMGs, MMGs, and shotguns as its primary weapon options. Although it is a very small percentage of players who actually select support to use a shotgun, this does still mean it offers the opportunity to play at a wide variety of ranges, just with very strict limitations generally. But obviously the main standout thing that support offers as a class itself is resupplying ammunition. Don't really know why I enunciated like that, ammunition, but the ability to constantly resupply yourself as support, actively resupply others with crates or pouches, or even now to passively resupply people if they run up to you and take the ammo themselves, really does make for a useful class. And that addition at the end has for sure improved the experience of playing both as and with support. There's the opportunity to utilize what are essentially mobile resupply stations. Just, you know, holding a gun and shooting people as well. Or lying down and shooting people, to be specific generally. No hate, you know, you do what you want to do, it's fine. On top of that, I'm getting a bit bitchy with this now. On top of that, playing a support somewhat negates one element of the attrition system. A system that hasn't exactly received overwhelming praise in Battlefield 5. Although I feel like the vast majority are at least used to it and can deal with its presence at this point. And the support class helps to ease any lingering misgivings about that, even if it's just a little bit. But back to the actual weaponry. As far as primary weapons go, this is the class for large magazine persistent fire play. Reloads are generally infrequent, cover fire and suppressive fire is obviously a viable possibility, and paired with the machine gunner combat role makes you an absolute spotting machine if you're using one of the high ammo count machine guns. And of course, almost everything comes with the bipod on this class. Now if we're talking about the strengths of the class, well then that's a good thing. It allows for far more accurate play and, well, honestly, a phrase I use a lot, laser beams. And it really has been like that since the release of the game, especially with MMGs, when you're not just incentivized to remain stationary, but almost required to, at least a lot of people that aren't of the highest skill bracket. So while this is technically a strength of the class, it has also been one of the main problems that DICE have had to deal with in Battlefield 5, hence why the MMGs received some recoil changes a little while back, and look to be heavily nerfed in the soon-to-be released update. And that's not speculation, by the way. As I covered in a recent video, I received this information ahead of time from other sources, which I can't go into, but what I've heard has always been backed up in fact later on. So expect MMGs, or at least some of them, to be far less effective at range very soon. But that's somewhat besides the point. What I'm saying is that many haven't enjoyed the bipod heavy play of Battlefield 5, and the support class has been the chief exponent of that. So not only do I really not enjoy using it, but I also really don't enjoy playing against it. But if you do like it, or you want realism over fun with the bipod, etc., then cool, good for you. You know, that's great. It's gotta be for someone, and if it's you, then good for you, I'm happy for you. Now, it's not all all slow play focused of course. There are some aggressive options for support such as the FG42, the LS26 or indeed the shotguns, and some players absolutely love this class and play very aggressively with it, such as Get Your Ammo here, a friend of the channel. But for me, this is never the class I choose for that style of gameplay. Now though, support has at least got some anti-vehicle gadgetry, which is nice. I do genuinely appreciate that, as it does feel a little limiting when using medic or recon and having to basically just evacuate the area when a vehicle turns up a lot of the time. But overall support just isn't my thing. Thus it takes its place as my worst / least fun class in Battlefield 5. And I'm interested in seeing what other people think of it in the comments, to see how many people feel like me and the reasons why, and who actually really enjoys the class and why. Please let me know either way. Okay, next we come to third place, which is obvious if you understand numbers, and I've gone for the Recon class, which utilizes bolt action rifles, self-loading rifles, pistol carbines, and anti-material rifles, otherwise known as annoying prone one-bangers. And please do not think this was an easy decision. I really feel like second and third place could switch around for me with regularity, and honestly the remaining three classes are all so far ahead of support for me that fourth place was the only really easy decision. But alas, on this day it's Recon I've gone for next. Yet I honestly really enjoy it. Let's talk about what it's good at first. In terms of helping your team and racking up points, Recon is currently absolutely excellent. Yes, I did just say that and I mean it. Recon is a fantastic choice for aiding in your team's success. It's just that far too many Recons aren't using the class in the appropriate manner to do so. Spotting opportunities in Battlefield 5 are currently massive, due to the lack of traditional active spotting that we saw in Battlefield 1 for example, and the Recon class is the go-to option for this. The spotting scope and the spotting flare are extremely powerful and useful, especially the flare, to the extent that it's about to catch a fairly serious nerf I think, but it'll still be a very valuable gadget to have. And the amount of times I've seen Recon players with lackluster kill totals picking up crazy points via spotting is near unfathomable, and I urge actual good Recons to not start to slip on providing such spotting, even after the spotting flare nerf and the introduction of enemy acquisition icons. It really will still be valuable to get those dots on the minimap and get a grip on how the enemy are laid out in a specific area. Now I know this is a lot of gadget talk, but they really are of importance, more so than I think a lot of people feel they are, for all classes in fact. And just to close this bit out, it's a good job the scope and the flare are currently really good, because the decoy and the AP mines are super lackluster, so it maintains some form of balance. I do want to give a special mention to the sniper combat role for the Recon class as well. The ability to spot an enemy with a non-lethal blow is great and really plays into the class's overall effectiveness. Now as for weaponry, well remember this is all shifting soon and probably a lot from what I've heard, but as of right now the self-loading rifles are excellent. The anti-material rifles are good at what they do when it comes to fighting infantry. Maybe we won't talk about that too much, but they do what you expect when you shoot people. And to balance that, they are very limiting to play with and hard to play with at a high degree of effectiveness. And as for the pistol carbines, well, the trench carbine is one of my favourite weapons in the entire game. In full auto, it seems to absolutely melt people. I'm not really sure why, but I'm not complaining about it. It's a lot of fun to use and has pushed more Recons into the action rather than sitting off in a distant corner and not being of value to the team. Now speaking of such things as sitting at the edge of the map, let's talk about the bolt action rifles. These can be used in a manner that helps the team, of course. Go and watch Stode, go and watch Fabian or whoever you like, the evidence is clear. But there are reasons why some people are passive in the extreme with bolt actions, and part of that is sometimes because they currently statistically suck when compared with almost any other weapon in the game. Looking at the program numbers, they simply aren't good. And it's worse on console, where the requirement to hit headshots often with thumbsticks to make them a worthwhile choice over other options, well, it's a clear issue. And that's why I don't enjoy Recon as much as I'd like to in this game, because I love sniping in games. I sniped a lot in BF1, I snipe extensively in Destiny 2, but in BF5 it just doesn't feel good to me. Although I'm sure Maxik and such like have a great time with it. You know, they seem to destroy with it on console somehow anyway, so good for them. Ascend Neon as well does a very good job with them. But with that all said, the changes coming soon will likely boost bolt actions from bad to excellent in terms of the meta, so we'll see if my opinion changes when that's in place. A quick mention though for the self-loading rifles such as the ZH29, I have had a a lot of fun with them in their current form. They're super effective in the right hands, and overall, despite it sitting in third place for some of the reasons provided, I'm pretty happy with the Recon class in BF5 and have enjoyed using it quite a lot. So, you know, even though it's in third place, it's good for it, is a point that I'm making without saying actual words coherently. This isn't part of a script. I hope you enjoyed. Alright, on to second place, and I've gone for Assault, which has, obviously, assault rifles and semi-autos as its primary weaponry. This is just an all-round strong class. It does what you expect, it's versatile, can engage at a vast array of ranges, has the option of assault rifles for automatic-based firing, or semi-autos for more precision-orientated play, or if you just have a very strong trigger finger, of course. With options such as the STG, the M1A1 and such like, Assault has been a popular choice for the entirety of Battlefield 5's life so far, and as ever seems to benefit from being the default class when you start the game. No doubt by design, so it shoehorns people into it, as it has some very familiar mechanics that you can find in most traditional first-person shooters, so it doesn't take long for people to get to grips with it. The main draw for me though is the explosive power of Assault, and I mean this really is the Assault class, it's in the name. You can take down infantry and vehicles alike, acting as the front line in a team push and putting the pain on the enemy. The explosives are a core aspect of this, as taking out vehicles when able is of massive importance, as well as having an array of ways to alter the landscape of the battle, such as destroying buildings that the enemy are using to protect their position. Now on top of that, planes currently seem to have the ability to be extra annoying for some reason, and so the option of using the Fliegerfaust on them is another bonus point for the Assault class, although I doubt many pilots agree. But yeah, this is basically the generic action class. It's got the tools to do almost any job. You can go for something like the Carabin for super accurate fire, the M1907 for spray and pray gameplay, the Ribé Relais for bipod, or whatever else. These are options that I think are hard to argue with, and for me overall are just fun. And so Assault gets second place for me in the battle of the classes. And now we come to my winner, the Medic class, obviously, because you've seen what the other three were, which has SMGs and bolt action carbines as its primary weaponry. And the first reason why I love the Medic class is very basic. I really enjoy getting into the action and getting involved, having gunfights, getting the most out of my time on the game, and SMGs are currently, at least, a great option for that for obvious reasons. That said, you do also have bolt action carbines, and of those, the jungle carbine is currently probably one of the best weapons in the game, at least going by popular opinion, and we'll see how much damage that one does after the TTK changes. It could be very nasty. But aside from the weapons, there's also a massive reason why I and many others really enjoy the Medic class. It is obviously the heals. The ability to heal your teammates and indeed keep them in the fight with revives. And even above that is the self-healing, allowing you to negate the most intrusive aspect of the attrition system, which is also very important with the large and wide open maps that are part of the Battlefield 5 experience. And of course there are lots of points on offer as well via those heals and revives, which is never a bad thing. Now if you think back a bit, the SMGs were pretty underpowered when Battlefield 5 released, and there were no bolt action carbines available for the class at that point either, meaning that the Medic class has had quite a turnaround in the last year. So overall, I personally love the Medic class right now for the ability to be aggressive, get in there and get involved, and keep healing as you go along. What's not to like? So I feel like no huge explanation is really needed for that. The Medic class is great right now, and that's why it's my winner for the Battle of the Classes in Battlefield 5, at least right now, before planned TTK changes. So what's your list? Get into the comments below if you haven't already, and let me and everyone else know. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate you leaving a like, it does mean a lot. Thank you for that. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications if you want to stay up to date with my content, and feel free to follow my stream and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. Here's the Board of Awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and love them all deeply and of course often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy and I'll see you next time. Laters. But I figure even if you do, you're probably still going to pick up kills as the recoil never knocks you into that truly uncontrolled state. You just realign your sights and you're good to go. And the overall design of Battlefield 5 is part of the reason why this is such a solid pick. Not just for new and less able players, but really for anyone if you connect with it.